I'm an ex-GCTN. I had passed out of this college 18 years back in 1995. So GCT has been part of my life in some sense. It's very hard to kind of get away because my wife is a GCTN, my friends are GCTNs, my career is also all about GCTNs. What you see here is a company. These are 3 ex-GCT folks, Srini, Vidya, and myself. We were all classmates sitting in the same bench, and literally we were all from the computer science batch in 95. And the only passion that we were all having was being geeks in some sense, right? We were all very technology geeks. And that's the passion that's kind of been our career in some sense. And I'm going to walk you through what we do. So what we do, we run a company together. We've run 2 companies together. We've been together for the last 18 years. This is a second venture called Amagi. We're doing what's called local advertising on TV. It's a very unique model that we're evolving in the country right now, which allows you to have different advertising in different cities on the same TV channel. So I've taken an example, like Sun TV could have smaller business in Coimbatore advertising only for Coimbatore, somebody advertising with Tiruchi, and somebody advertising in Madurai at the same time. The same ad spot that you see would have different advertisers. The genesis of this whole thing was, how do we enable smaller businesses to come and do that? See this example so you're going to get a perspective of how this works, right? So you have 2 different, so let's assume this was television channels that you're sitting in Bangalore and Kolkata. You would see these 2 creatives, and what you see next, for example, is an advertising which only happens in those cities. So if you're sitting in Bangalore, you would be seeing that ad. And if you're sitting in Kolkata, you'll be seeing that ad at that point in time. So it's seamless. You would think that the local business in those regions can start to advertise on these platforms specifically for their consumers in those regions primarily. You'll see that switching back, for example. So if you're sitting in those cities, you would see what advertising that's happening in those cities, right? This is a big disruption in the television industry, and I can tell you because this is television in India is a $2 billion business. So that's roughly 12,000 crores of money is spent on television advertising. We are a small company trying to change the way advertising happens by enabling smaller businesses to do this. So it's a huge disruption that's happening, and the channels don't like us. So a lot of companies feel it's a big change that we're doing as a company, for example. So what we believe is we're trying to dream something out here. It's a big dream for us. It's a big change that we're bringing to the country. And three of us have 3 different roles in the company, just to give you a perspective. So I'm a dreamer. I pretty much come with a lot of optimism, a lot of things to change. And that's my idea, always to look at how to change. Vidya is a realist. She goes about actually implementing things. And she runs our engineering and technology and other aspects. And Srini is the guy who's with aggression, going out and really doing all the marketing work and trying to do things. And 3 of us go a long way back, as I told you, because we've been in the same college. In that sense, that's a sort of strand of trust with each other is very, very high in terms of when you run a company like this, for example. Where it all started for us is GCT, right? This is the college where it started, same buildings where we sat together in some sense. The great thing for us was, this is a small game. I'm sure if all of you are aware, this is called a Pong game, right? This is a ping pong game from Atari, for example. I was never a good gamer in my college days. So although I was a good programmer, never a gamer. So it used to be interesting because my friends used to come and say, okay, now let's challenge you with a game. So I was never a good gamer in my reflexes. So I never got to get good reflexes happening. So this used to be a consistent problem. And one of my friends challenged me in college saying, okay, can you beat me in this game? So he gave me a day to train myself to do that. So what I did was I went back home and was thinking about it. I could never get my reflexes truly because they're natural reflex for playing a game. So what I did was to see this. So what I did was actually slowed the game rather than trying to slow myself, speed in myself. What I could think of is, I said if I want to win the game, I should use my strength, not the strength of others, right? So I said, okay, let's create it naturally. So I actually created a small delay the clock of the computers. So I could hack the computers to reduce the clock speed dramatically and actually win the game. And actually, in fact, my friend had to give his gold chain to me as a bet. So even today, I have it with it, right? So that was the bet. So if you look at it, interestingly, we were trying to always solve problems with a passion, and you're trying to always look at it from a technology perspective because we were all very passionate about stuff, right? So this is 1992, and this is, I don't know if the labs changed dramatically right now, but it looks the same at least, right? So 1992 is when we all entered in this lab. This was like the dream for all of you, because you had computers, access to computers, which was one of the biggest thing that you could ever have primarily. And interestingly, we were kind of learning new concepts, and one of the concepts in computer science is that in a Unix system, for example, everything is considered a file. And to say everything is a file, you would say, okay, a monitor is a file, a keyboard is also treated like a file, a hard disk is also a file. So you can actually treat every device as a file in a Unix system. So this was very exciting for my friends and to us. So what we did was we're trying to play with this, and we said, okay, if the display is also a file, we should be able to delete the display. That looked very odd. What is the deleting a display, right? So my friends tried it, and actually what happened was we had a crash of the whole computer lab. So the first year we were getting into a computer lab, we got the whole lab crashed for almost a week, and we had a big rap with all our professors who said, hey, why are you guys doing it? You should be using the lab effectively. But if you look at it, by crashing this, we could learn a lot more in terms of how computers worked. How do you really be able to address things? And one of the interesting things was I was very passionate about viruses, because viruses were starting to happen at that point of time, and computers were just about coming up, and virus was one big thing that was interesting. So always passionate about things, I said, okay, how do we, so I actually built a computer virus myself. So sat at home, coded it, and created a virus. And unfortunately, I created a paper, technical paper on how to write a virus. So which the head of the department actually called me up and said, you're going to be disqualified. I said, why? Because you're writing how to write a virus. You can write how not to write, how to clean up a virus. You cannot say how to write a virus. But unfortunately, what I felt, the genesis of this thought was, if everybody knew how to write a virus, then automatically means the virus is gone, because everybody knows how to clean the virus as well. So knowing how to create things is very critical. So this whole hacker mentality, if it's channeled in a very positive fashion, you can do a lot more in terms of what you try to address primarily. So it need not be only for bad things, but you can actually use it for a very good thing as well, some sense. In my life, I've been a computer geek for a long time. So I had started programming in my school days. So it was a passion which was all-encompassing. It was very hard to get out of it. It's almost like an addiction that you do, right? So when I started, I actually started a software business in '91. So when I entered college, I had actually started a business. And the business had a very interesting deal with a chartered accountant. So the chartered accountant had, obviously I'm coming from a middle-class family, so I couldn't afford a computer at home. So the deal was I could get access to computers on Friday nights if I work for the whole week for their product. So I actually sat with a chartered accountant in their home, and actually built, so every day in the college days I used to spend in college, nights I used to spend actually building with their PC in their home, a full financial software. And we started selling it to the Rahejas and everybody else at 1991 primarily. So the advantage of this is that the passion was so high that for that one day of free time that I used to get on Friday nights to really work on computers, I have to spend another 4 nights to just do the job so that I can actually get access to that. This continued for long, almost like through 3 years that it continued. I think my father really got exasperated with me saying, hey, this is not the way to really do it. He actually took a loan and actually bought a computer at home, which pretty much kind of solved the problem eventually of not going out of home in late nights, for example. What I see is, and again, college was fun, so we all had a lot of fun here. And when I finished GCT, then I thought I wanted to work on operating systems and scheduling systems and stuff like that. So I actually left college, was very clear I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so it was like a passion in you that it's very hard to go. So I wanted to do a master's, so went to Iit Bombay. When I went to Iit Bombay, the first thing was, hey, this is a great institution, a historic institution, and I wanted to learn a lot of things, right? I went into the college, and the key thing I saw is a lot of students who were looking at, okay, what is the grades that I'm going to do? So everything was about grades there. Everybody said, okay, oh, this professor does not give me good grades, so I'm not going to work with him. Oh, this professor is great, but I get A or B grade minimum, for example. So if the environment was all about grades, all about marks, so that kind of repelled me out of this whole institution, because I thought, I'm here to learn, not to really create grades, for example. fundamentally that changed my perceptions about education itself. Is if education is all about grades, I don't think there's any meaning to it, because if you want to look at journeys which are your own journeys, it just doesn't make sense to kind of look at a model of going to the same colleges and actually doing. So academic excellence is only a very small part of our lives. How do you build yourself? So actually I dropped out of the college. So 3 months ahead of time, 3 months into the college, I had pretty much packed my bags and I thought I'll come home primarily. So that's when we all started a company together. And when we started the first company, we were at 24. So at 24 years of age, when it's like 3 years out of college, we had started our first company. It was a wireless technology company. And again, we built things which we didn't know. We built things because we thought we'll dream of new things. So we never had a problem of learning new things. So ignorance, in some sense, is a bliss. And we always use it to our advantage. So any new systems, we used to say, okay, we don't know, let's go ahead, try it out. So that's the passion that we leveraged across all the stuff. So the first company, we ran it for 5 years. And we were one of the first companies to build Bluetooth technology in the globe. So we actually released our first product at the age of 26 in 2000, for example. So that became a big confidence booster for all of us, saying, okay, if at 26 you're able to build this, you can beat the world. And that was the path that we took for ourselves over time, primarily. At 20, when we kind of built this company for 5 years. So 5 years was completely all GCTNs. So we had at least 4 or 5 GCTNs out of our college, our own batch, for example. So there is no good reason that world-class technology cannot be built by GCTNs, because this is one of the big things that I hear people saying, okay, I'm not from IIT, so I cannot build things. I don't think so, because it's all about being passionate about yourself. And there's nothing to do with, I think an institution is an enabler. It's a platform, an enabler. And beyond that, it's your own capabilities and abilities that actually builds it out. So there's a strong belief that we are competing with the world's best. We are leaders in the space that we get into. We create new things. And I believe this is fundamentally because of not having this any sort of issue of saying, okay, I'm from GCT, that's all I can do. No, you can actually beat the world. That's critical for us to look at. What's a big learnings is, as in the last 18 years has been, follow your heart. So whenever you look at things, follow your heart completely in terms of stuff and make your own life. So we created our own life. So we didn't really think of a standard path. So we didn't worry about going to a career in a company or anywhere else. We said, okay, let's create our own companies. Let's create our own stuff. So I think follow your heart, whatever it is. It could be music, it could be art, it could be technology, it could be anything. But if you don't have the passion to do it for yourself, that's a very critical part, I think. And this college has actually given us the roots to do that. So we're passionate about something and we could carry that along in our whole lifetime, for example. The other thing is always explore the unknown. Somewhere there's always a feeling that, okay, I know some things and I don't know something. I think you have to explore the unknown by having a childlike curiosity. Because even today, I'm a small child in some sense, because I'm trying to learn new things. And I think has been a very critical advantage for us, because every new thing looks an interesting activity to go ahead and look at things and actually start learning things. So this has been the core mantra, if you will, in terms of our lives in the last 18 years, which has been a great journey for all of us. So follow your heart, have the childlike curiosity in you for your lifetime. It's something that you have to have in your lifetime. And I think it's a great journey. We believe we're gifted to be in this college and actually be able to build what we did. And I hope the same in success for all of you as well. Thank you, folks.